Is everybody on page 145?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to have some people watching this video. We're going to have Jordan James. We're going to have Cassidy Carlisle. Can't remember anybody else. But anyway, let's turn around and wave at them. Y'all wave. All right, Jordan and Cassidy. We hope to see y'all soon. All right, so is everybody on 145 at this moment? Yesterday we went over the new vocabulary, or the new literary terms, that is. Here they are again. I'm not going to make you write them again. That would be a waste of time. But we are going to quickly review them. Hyperbole is great exaggeration. Okay, hyperbole is great exaggeration. Simile is a comparison of two or more things using like or as. That's not new. You guys have had that since 3rd or 4th grade. Metaphor is a comparison of two or more things without using like or as. And then we've had personification before. Personification is when you give human characteristics to something non-human. All right? And not on this, but I do want to remind you, imagery. Okay? Imagery is writing that appeals to the senses, sight, taste, smell, even hearing. Generally, it's going to be sight words. It'll put a picture in your mind's eye. Now, I want everybody to turn to page 146. This is Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. It's XVIII. X means 10 in Roman numerals. V is 5, and each I is the number 1. So, X plus V, that's 15, plus 3 I's, that's 18. Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Look at the first line. It says, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" This poem doesn't actually have a title, but a lot of Shakespeare's poems, and this is a sonnet, we'll discuss that later. A lot of Shakespeare's poems don't have titles, so people often refer to them by the first line. So if anyone ever says, if they make a comment about the poem, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" that is this poem. And this is a famous poem. You guys are going to really love this poem. So everybody on page 146, and that includes you, Jordan and Cassidy. I want you to take about 2 minutes and read this poem. And then I'm going to get a couple of you I'm going to pair you up and get you to go discuss it. You're going to tell us what the poem's about. All right? So 146, read it quietly. Go ahead. You too on the internet. Those of you keeping up online, Constance and Abby Girl are soon to explain the meaning of this poem. Everybody else, be quiet, let them talk it out. You can reread it, be prepared for questions in a minute. Go ahead, young ladies, go ahead and discuss it. Okay, girls. What happens in the poem?
It's like explaining how summer's like, how good summer is. You know, like,
It does explain how good, put the camera on him. It does explain how good summer is. That is one thing, but it's not necessarily about that, although that is a little
It's like,
feature of the poem. Connie?
who?
Constance?
It's like saying like how it's like almost like kind of better than any other season.
It does say that it's better than any other season. Yeah, it alludes to that. What else? What's the poem of? Oh, the great Randini. Here we go. Randy, what do you say, my man?
He compares the person that he loves to summer.
He compares the person that he loves to summer. That's what he's doing. Come on back, Abby girl. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. This is so good. Y'all are going to love this. All right, girls, not bad. Randy, not bad. Does anybody else want to make a comment before we read this and break it down like Michael Jackson? Yes, Marquis.
Oh, I didn't understand it at first until they said something. Like the words didn't make sense to me. Like, but when they said it, put two and two together.
Okay, what did you get when you put two and two together?
But he likes summer, and he likes his girlfriend, so he treats his girlfriend like summer.
That's not bad. I was thinking he was going to say four when I said, what do you get when you put two and two together? But he gave us this Shakespearean answer. Okay, so Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. This is so good. You ready? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. So when he says, shall I compare thee, thee means you. Shall I compare you to a summer's day? So right at the beginning, he says, I'm about to compare you to a day of summer. And then he says, thou art more lovely and more temperate. Okay? So, lovely, we know what that means, right? What does temperate mean? Well, it should look familiar to another word.
You look like temperature.
It looks like temperature. He said, you're hotter than the summer. Okay? If we were to put it like now, he said, baby, you are prettier than the prettiest summer day and hotter than the summer. Let's keep going. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Let's look at that. Summer's lease hath all too short a date. What does that mean? Summer's lease hath all too short a date. Yes?
Summer is too short.
Summer is too short. Look, guys, you know when you come back to school, you're like, man, summer just flew by. You know what I'm talking about?
Great.
Nobody ever says, man, that was the longest summer ever. Okay? And man, we just got out and then we're back again. Summer's lease hath all too short a date. He's saying summer is too short of a season. And what he's doing is he is comparing that season to a season of life. So let's take the four seasons. We've got spring, summer, autumn or fall, and then winter, right? Okay? Spring would be like the session of the life you guys are in right now. Youth. Okay? Youth. That's where, you know, the trees are like growing leaves. Okay? So, you know, turning green. All right? That's where you are. And then, after spring comes summer. And he's saying this is where, you know, you're of age, you're an adult, but you're holding your beauty, or in my case, my handsomeness. Okay? Right? Uh-huh. So that's where you are. And then in the fall, right? That's where you like, just like the leaves turn orange or brown or whatever, your hair will turn gray, start to fall out, right? And then in the winter, you're getting cold and dead. Okay? You're getting cold and dead like the winter, like the old trees, right? So he says, summer's lease hath all too short a date. So what he's saying is that for humans, you know, the part of your life where you're fully, you know, developed and the most beautiful or the most handsome, it's a very short time, because then after that you get old, right? Get this. Line 5. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. What does that mean? What is this eye of heaven Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. What's that? What is the eye of heaven?
The sun.
That's the sun. And often is his gold complexion dim. Get this. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. Get this, line 9. But thy eternal summer shall not fade. What? You're always going to be beautiful. Your beauty will never fade. You're going to be hot forever. You are the summer. Okay? This dude's good, huh?
He actually smart.
Uh-huh. Nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Get this, 11. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. Look. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. What's he saying there? Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. Marquis? Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. What's it saying?
Like, death should not come to, like, I don't understand it.
You're on the right track.
Like, death should not come towards him. Like,
On the right track. Brienne, you know?
Like death shouldn't come to her too early.
You're on the right track. He's saying, even when you die, death can't even steal your beauty. You're that good looking. By the way, what's that an example of? Nor shall death brag. Literary example.
oh,
Personification.
Personification, yeah. Giving the human character some. Let's keep going. When in eternal lines to time thou growest. Look at 13 and 14. So long, this is so good. So long as men breathe or eyes can see, so long live this, and this gives life to thee. Look at that. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So long lives what? What's still living? No. He says her beauty. She said her beauty. Yes, but that's not really what he means here. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
His love.
No, she said his love for her. No. Look at what you're reading. What?
Say it, Brianna.
The poem. The poem. He's saying as long as people can see and breathe, they'll be reading this poem.
There was some whispers of poem, they just didn't say it
They
out.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over here and
He's
behind
saying
me.
as long as this poem is read, you're still alive. Now listen, William Shakespeare lived from 1564 to 1616. 1564 to 1616. Now I do not know the year he wrote this poem, but I know he lived from 1564 to 1616. It's 2022. That means that this poem is at least 406 years old. And we're still reading it. We're still reading about her. She's still alive. Pretty smart, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Marquis.
isn't William Shakespeare the man who made it?
No, that is Stephen King.
Oh.
All right, let's read it again as a whole, and then we're going to move on to the next poem, which you're also going to love. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease has all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Understand it now? Pretty good poem. This guy I went to high school with, he was like 2 years older than me, and his girlfriend was in my English class. So his name was Ronnie Wheat. Not Wheat, Ronnie, there's another Ronnie, Ronnie Wheat. This is another Ronnie, I can't remember his name. Anyway, so Ronnie wrote all these poems that he copied out of the book, the Shakespeare poems, and he gave them to his girlfriend when she was a 10th grader. And then this is true, when we were in 12th grade, taking 12th grade English, she's like, that's where he got these poems from. He told me he wrote these poems. True story. All right, look at the next one. The seed shop. The seed shop. You guys are familiar with seeds, right? Raise your hands if you've eaten sunflower seeds before. Hold on, let's see if there are any hands down. Everyone has eaten sunflower seeds. Good. You know how they're like dry? You know what I'm talking about? And the ones you eat are probably like, they probably got like a little salt on them. Okay? They don't come with that, that's applied, but they're dry and kind of dusty feeling. Okay? Well, if you were to go into the seed section at, say, Lowe's, they have little packets where you can buy seeds, and they come in a packet. You tear them open and dig a hole, plant them in there, cover them up, hand down. I'll talk to you in a minute. So, if you were to do that, you could, grow something. Cantaloupe. She was telling about how she actually grew cantaloupe one summer when she lived in Madison. Roses, watermelons, whatever. You can save the seeds from watermelons. You literally can. You can put them in a little cup or something. In the next season, plant them and they will grow. Okay? But they get really, really dry and kind of dusty. All right? But they can grow into something beautiful. This is a really short poem. It's only four lines. Well, it says from the seed shop, so we're only reading 4 lines of the poem. From the Seed Shop by Muriel Stewart. I'm going to give you about 1 minute. You're going to read that poem and think about it. Then you're going to read it again and think about it. And that's going to be about the time your minute's up. Go. Jeremy,
Yes.
what's the poem? What's it saying?
It's like, so you don't want me to read or sing, or do you want me to like?
I want you to tell me in your own words what it's saying.
Okay, no problem. It's like, in my own opinions, I'm just like, I'm thinking that I'm like, it's like being like said in like a positive way, that like using like the first like 3 lines of the poem.
It is a positive poem. You're right. Can you tell me, can you expound on that a little bit, Miss Isabel?
Like the seeds are like in his hands, and he's saying like the seeds are like the gardens that he plants.
That's right. That's right. Check this out. Here in a quiet and dusty room they lie, faded as crumbled stone or shifting sand, forlorn as ashes, shriveled, scentless, dry. Meadows and gardens running through my hand. So he's got these seeds, and he's in this seed shop, right? They probably like have a bucket of these kind of seeds and a bucket of this kind of seeds and a bucket of another kind, you know what I mean? And you can take them and scoop them. That's what I imagine. You can take them and scoop them, right? And in this, he might have, let's say, 50 watermelon seeds. And right here, it's just 50 watermelon seeds, right? But that's a garden that he's holding. You know what I'm talking about? You put those back, and you can scoop up, 50 wildflower seeds, right? Or dandelions, or whatever. And they're just seeds, but that's like, hundreds of plants, hundreds of little flowers he's holding in the form of a seed. Read it again. Here in a quiet and dusty room they lie. What's he say is lying there?
Seeds.
Seeds. Faded as crumbled stone or shifting sand, Forlorn as ashes, shriveled, scentless, dry, meadows and gardens running through my hand. Pretty cool poem, huh? Marquis, you were going to say something earlier and I forgot to go back to you. What is it, buddy?
Oh, like you said, the seeds is probably a dumb question like that you can get at Lowe's. Like, can you eat those?
I would think you probably shouldn't do that.
Oh,
It may have chemicals on them.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. If you want to eat some food from the store, I would advise going to like Walmart and buying some fruit or
I
something.
used to eat the watermelon seeds, so I thought.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do the ones from Lowe's. Okay, guys, before we sign off, are there any questions, comments, or expostulations? We're good? Okay, your homework is to bring this book back tomorrow. All right? That's it. Y'all can pack.